What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Irishman, new movie from Martin Scorsese, produced in conjunction with, released through Netflix. Had a short run in theaters, I think, to get, to be accepted, potential Academy Award or whatever. But it's a Netflix joint. Super long movie, 3.5 hours long. Amazing cast: Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci is back. Tons of comedians. I love that this movie is full of stand-up comics, from Ray Romano to Jim Norton to Sebastian Maniscalco. Just probably some of the better parts of the movie. But the movie itself was very much like a paint by numbers Scorsese movie. It was as if, let's say Steven Spielberg wanted to do a Scorsese movie, where it just feels too polished. Like if Nirvana, if Kurt Cobain never died and Nirvana was still around, and they somehow polished their act. It's no longer grunge. Scorsese used to be like gangster, grungy gangster. Like it had that kind of feel to it. Like the movie, like it had just kind of an authenticity, a heart to it. And this one seemed like almost as if Disney produced a mobster movie. All of the performances are super tired. Everybody is old in this movie, which is fine, but they try to be younger. There's like a lot of the facial de-aging technology in this movie, apparently. Instead of having his actors wear the tracking dots on their face, Scorsese didn't want to do that to his actors, so instead it took like exponentially more time in post to make everybody look younger. But the performances don't fit the ages. Like they're mildly less old, right? It's not drastic. They just remove some wrinkles here and there, but it's kind of hard. Sometimes they look super old. The makeup is like, I don't know. I don't know if it's bad facial stuff or if it's just bad makeup. But the performances they just were like tired. Everybody just seemed like exhausted doing this movie. Just nothing. There's no poppiness. There's just nothing Scorsese about the Scorsese movie. Hustlers, the movie about strippers, had more of a feeling of a Scorsese film than a Scorsese film. Just one of the worst. Like you could tell that this was an example of just the old, like where just these old characters trying to be younger people. Just didn't work. There's a scene where Robert De Niro's character goes in to rough up. It's like a business owner or whatever that I forget if he roughed up his daughter or granddaughter. I don't even know who the relation was. But he goes to rough up this guy, and it's like he throws him out. Like he's got the strength to throw him out of the building. Right. The whole scene takes place. The camera is just a shot from across the street, shooting a storefront. De Niro goes in the store. Guy gets thrown out, right? Gets thrown out. He's like on the ground by the curb, and De Niro comes over like an old man, coming over, just stiff like an old man, and just trying to do just some of the worst, basically what you would see, the fighting you would see in like a WWE match, where you could tell nothing is landing. It's just all like the worst. It is the worst fight scene you've ever seen. I mean, it's not a fight scene. It's De Niro doing a really bad job of making it look like he's kicking a guy or beating a guy up. It's just, I don't know if if Scorsese wasn't looking at the monitors that day, maybe he, just gave it to his second unit director to take care of, and then that's just what they came up with. But like, I can't imagine a director on the caliber of Scorsese seeing that take that they used and just being okay with it. It just was not good. And then Pacino has like 5 different accents in this movie. Like he's going from, he sounds like Canadian, he sounds like he sounds like Scarface in a point. He sounds like he's all over the place with this accent. Because he plays Jimmy Hoffa. I mean, the story's interesting. Scorsese is a good storyteller, right? So it's a good telling of the story about Jimmy Hoffa, but everything else is just lifeless. There's nothing to it's I don't know how long it's been. Let me see the last like true Scorsese film. I mean, the cast in this is just amazing, but it's just nothing. It's not even worth the effort, it seems like. Let's see here. He did Silence. I never saw that, but it seemed like maybe he was trying. It just didn't try anything new. It didn't feel like anything was. A Wolf of Wall Street was the last, and that one had that Scorsese kind of feel to it. And then before that, he did Hugo, which this feels more like Hugo than it does Wolf of Wall Street or Goodfellas. I mean, this is basically like a Goodfellas type of story, but just Scorsese's so polished as a director that there's just no life to it, and it just kind of having that grunge of Scorsese is and just how there's no new shot, there's nothing, he doesn't bring anything new to. I mean, I guess it's his attempt to working with CGI and the face replacement stuff. I guess that would be the new thing that he brought to this film. But it's not like he was able to use that in a way that, what he's able to do with shots. He's done like some of the most iconic shots in film. And it was just, there was just no I don't know. It's like a movie that I should like, that should be great, because it's like, it's Scorsese doing a Scorsese film, but it just didn't have the heart. It just didn't have. It made me want to fall asleep. Just the performances are tired. Everybody's like on the verge of death, and it shows. It's very lifeless. Let's put it that way. Very lifeless. There's a DNR has been filed on this film, but I hope it doesn't get. There's no reason for any nominations in this film. There's zero reason for. There's no performance that stands out. I love seeing Pesci, but he's like so old. He is so old, man. When he plays like the older version of whatever his character is, like he's good actor, man. But when they're trying to be younger, it doesn't work at all. Does not work at all. And it's hard to even tell like what ages they're supposed to be. It seems like the aging range went from like 60 to 80 or something like that. It's just I don't know. It's I'm sure it'll do well with the older crowd that likes Scorsese. Their temperament. They probably don't want the kind of grunge that Scorsese usually offers with his films. So I would imagine the older crowd would love this movie, and plus, they were alive at the time. It reminded them of the wars with, the unions versus the government versus the mobsters. I mean, an interesting story. It's an interesting story, and it's a well-made film, but it just didn't have like it checks all of the boxes for being a great film, except for like it's just a Tin Man. There's no heart. There's just nothing inside. So watch it if you want. I mean, I'm sure people will get something out of it, but in my opinion, how it ranks with Scorsese films, it's so sad. It's so disappointing that it's got so much amazing talent in this movie, and it just seems squandered. So anyway, Irishman. It's on Netflix. Watch it if you want. It's not a horrible time. It's an interesting story, but overall, it was disappointment. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTL. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Peace out.